Chosen one. This is not a coincidence. This moment was written into your path long before you pressed play. The heavens have been whispering, arranging for you to hear this exact word at this exact time. You've felt it, haven't you? The weight of silence pressing on your spirit, the unanswered questions, the moments when you wanted to defend yourself, explain, even cry out. But something inside said, wait, hold your tongue, stay still. That was not weakness. That was not defeat. It was divine strategy. Because God is saying to you today, don't speak yet. Silence is your weapon. The enemy expects your reaction. He waits for your words. He feeds on your explanations, your outbursts, your attempts to justify yourself. But heaven has hidden you in silence because silence is louder than any argument. It shakes realms words cannot reach. It protects what speech could destroy. You are not forgotten. You are being trained in the holy art of silence. And if you stay with me until the end, you will discover the mystery behind why God has silenced you in this season. A revelation most never learn. But when they do, it changes everything. So I invite you, as an act of faith, to declare your identity right now. Like this message, subscribe if you haven't already, and type in the comments, I'm chosen. Not as routine, not as ritual, but as a spiritual declaration of alignment with heaven. Now let us begin, because what God is about to reveal will unlock the hidden strength inside you. Silence is not emptiness. It is the container of mysteries too deep for noise. You feel its weight because heaven has placed something inside you that cannot yet be spoken. Have you noticed? The conversations that once gave you life now sound dull. The voices around you, once exciting, now ring hollow. Even your own words feel chained before they escape. This is not confusion. It is the hand of God holding your tongue, because silence has become your shield. Silence is not the lack of sound. It is the fullness of presence. Think of the stillness before dawn. The sky dark, the air heavy, creation preparing to burst with light. Birds hold their song. The earth waits. And suddenly, everything awakens. That is the season you are in. You are the silence before the sunrise. Yes, it feels heavy, like unanswered prayers, like heaven has closed its mouth to you. But what if silence is the answer? Proof that you are not forgotten, but prepared. Remember Elijah on the mountain. He searched for God in the wind, nothing. In the earthquake, nothing. In the fire, nothing. And then came a still small voice, hidden in silence. 1 Kings 19:11-12. God often chooses silence as the stage for his greatest revelations. Noise distracts, voices distort, but silence clears the atmosphere until only his whisper remains. You've cried, Lord, why won't you answer me? And heaven replies, I am answering you, in silence. Because silence is not void. It is alignment, it is rhythm, it is the soft symphony of heaven, calling you to tune your soul. Look through scripture and you'll see this pattern. Moses, 40 years in Midian before his voice shook Pharaoh. Joseph, hidden in prison before heard in the king's courts. John the Baptist, raised in obscurity before nations trembled at his voice. Jesus, 30 years hidden before 3 years rewrote eternity. If silence covered them, why expect your journey to be different? Only those who endure silence can be trusted with sound. Do not despise this weight. It is not abandonment, it is preservation. Heaven is pressing on you now so that when your release comes, your words will not be careless, but heavy with power. Silence shapes your spirit like fire shapes metal. It feels lonely, endless, but every quiet moment is forging strength. Your tears are watering the soil of your calling. Your waiting is not wasted. It is making you unshakable. Repeat this truth within yourself. My silence is not weakness. My silence is divine alignment. Because silence is not only about hearing God. It is about hiding you. Opportunities delayed. Doors unopened. It is heaven's covering, keeping you from exposure before your appointed time. Not everyone deserves your voice. Not every room is ready for your sound. Not every enemy should know your strength too soon. Silence is a veil. It conceals what must be protected. It shelters what must be nourished. It hides what the enemy would kill too early. This is why the silence feels so heavy, because it is holy, because it carries purpose, because it is evidence that God is near. So here is the question we now face. If silence is this weighty in preparation, what else could it mean? If it hides you, what exactly is it protecting you from? That is what we uncover in the next part. Because silence is not only training, it is divine hiding. And what God hides can never be stolen. You've been asking, why does it feel like people don't see me? Why does it seem as if my presence is overlooked, as if my voice goes unnoticed? Hear this clearly. You are not invisible, you are hidden. Hidden in plain sight, covered by the hand of the Almighty, not rejected, not abandoned, preserved. Think of Moses. Pharaoh ordered the death of every Hebrew boy. His mother placed him in a basket, set him upon the Nile. To the untrained eye, it looked like desperation. But in truth, it was divine concealment. The baby destined to part the sea was hidden on the water, covered in silence until deliverance came. You too have been placed in a basket of silence, carried by life's currents through uncertain seasons. But God has guided every wave, shielding you from eyes that could not understand your destiny, protecting you from attacks that would have ended your purpose too soon. Look again at Scripture. Jesus himself was hidden. Herod sought his life, and the light of the world fled to Egypt until the danger passed. Do you see the pattern? What is precious is always hidden. What carries eternal weight is always preserved until the appointed time. This is why some doors have not opened. This is why recognition has not yet come. It is not rejection. It is protection. Heaven has kept you under cover until your voice cannot be ignored. Even diamonds are hidden, buried deep beneath the earth, pressed by time and darkness. No one sees them, no one admires them, until the moment of unveiling. Then they shine with a brilliance no eye can deny. You are heaven's diamond. Buried, yes, but only so your shine will be undeniable when revealed. Yes, you've felt the sting of isolation. You've asked, why don't they see me? Why don't they hear me? But know this, heaven calls your name, and silence has been your camouflage. You have been hidden in plain sight, so what is meant for you cannot be stolen, not by envy, not by jealousy, not by premature exposure. Psalm 91 declares, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." You are under his shadow, and when you are there, others may not see you, but you are never out of his sight. Hidden seasons are holy. They are protective. They are where your roots grow deep enough to carry the weight of future fruit. The world sees absence, but heaven sees preservation. Do not despise this covering. Do not curse this concealment, because when God reveals what he has hidden, it always comes forth multiplied and undeniable. You have not been hidden to be forgotten. You have been hidden to be revealed, and when the unveiling comes, it will not be halfway. It will be sudden, undeniable, powerful. Your silence has been more than waiting. It has been your cloak, your shield. Enemies cannot touch you. Critics cannot find you. Even those who underestimated you have no idea of the weight you carry. So here is the mystery we face. If God has hidden you, if silence has become your covering, then what does it mean for your enemies? Because silence doesn't just protect you, it confuses those who seek to destroy you. And that is what we uncover in the next part. Your silence is not only protecting you, it is disarming the very forces that seek to destroy you. What they cannot understand, they cannot control. And what they cannot control, they cannot defeat. Have you noticed? When you remain silent, the enemy grows restless. When you refuse to answer, confusion rises in their camp. Because silence is a weapon forged by heaven to frustrate darkness. Exodus 14:14 declares, The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Not argue, not explain. Be still, and let heaven roar on your behalf. Think of a warrior holding a sword. If he swings wildly at every shadow, he wastes his strength. But if he keeps the sword sheathed, steady, watching, the enemy trembles. Your silence is that sword, hidden but powerful. It keeps adversaries guessing, drains their confidence, turns their attacks into confusion. Remember Jesus, accused before Pilate, mocked by priests, ridiculed by crowds, he remained silent. The Lion of Judah did not roar, because silence was the roar. Restraint was his authority. His quietness stripped enemies of power. They expected anger, they expected arguments. Instead, they were left powerless before holy silence. Your silence carries that same authority. When you refuse to fight battles with words, heaven fights them with fire. When you withhold your reaction, God releases his response, and his is always greater. Think of your own life. How many times were you tempted to defend yourself, to retaliate? Yet something whispered, "Don't speak." At first it felt like weakness. Now you see it was strategy. Had you spoken, you would have fueled your enemy, but silence left them weaponless. Their fire turned back upon themselves. This is why silence is feared in the spirit realm, because it is charged with heaven's energy. It unsettles demons. It confuses accusers. It frustrates liars. Your silence becomes a trap they cannot escape. Picture an army expecting noise, war cries, clashing swords. Instead, the battlefield is still. The enemy begins to imagine what waits in that silence. An ambush, a greater force. Their fear multiplies. Their strength weakens. The war is already won, without a strike. This is your life now. Your silence speaks louder than explanations ever could. Those who mocked you cannot comprehend why you walked away without a word. And because they cannot understand you, they cannot defeat you. You are walking in divine mystery, and mystery is your shield. When the enemy cannot read your moves, he cannot block your destiny. Psalm 37:7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways." Your silence is proof that you trust God more than emotions. It is evidence that heaven's justice is stronger than human revenge. So stop replaying the arguments in your mind. Stop crafting the perfect defense. Your defense is silence. Your victory is silence. Your weapon is silence. But here lies the deeper mystery. Silence does more than disarm your enemies. It builds something within you. It forges strength inside your spirit. It sharpens you for what is coming. And that is what we uncover next. Because silence is not only about frustrating your enemies. It is the furnace that creates unstoppable power within you. Your silence is not wasted. It is not weakness. It is the furnace where your power is being forged. Think of a bow before release. The string is pulled back, tighter and heavier as if near breaking. But all that tension becomes strength. When released, the arrow flies farther and sharper than without the pressure. That is what silence is doing in you. The tension you feel is not punishment. It is potential. Or think of a seed buried in the soil, hidden, uncelebrated, unseen. Yet in the dark silence, life stirs. The shell breaks, roots spread, and one day it bursts forth unstoppable. Your life is that seed. Silence is the soil. The fruit is your future. Do not despise the furnace. It is in silence that steel is forged. It is where character is purified. It is where your voice is prepared to carry heaven's fire. Daniel 3 tells us of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, thrown into the furnace, expected to be consumed. But instead, the fire revealed God walking with them. Silence has been your furnace. It felt unbearable, yet it did not destroy you, it refined you. And God was with you in every moment. Your silence is sacred building, a divine incubation, heaven pouring weight into your words. When you speak, it will not be small talk. It will be fire, it will be thunder, it will be destiny-breaking chains. Many speak, but few carry power. Many are loud, but empty. Your silence has filled your words with eternal weight. This is why in your next season you won't need to shout. Your whisper will carry more authority than the crowd screams. Isaiah 48:10 says, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Silence has been that affliction, but it refined you. You will not leave it the same. You will come out sharper, stronger, with words that cut darkness like a sword of light. Take a breath. Feel the weight of silence. Feel the heat of the furnace. Know this, it is not breaking you, it is making you. Not punishing you, but preparing you. Not delaying you, but developing you. The enemy whispered, "You are forgotten, you are muted." But heaven declares, "You are refined, you are hidden, you are chosen." Your silence has been God's workshop, and when the door opens, what emerges will be unstoppable. But here is the deeper mystery. If silence has been forging you in the furnace, what happens when heaven finally says, "Now speak"? Your voice will not be ordinary. It will be timed, precise, divine. And that is where we go next, because silence is not forever. It is leading you to the appointed moment of release. Silence is not forever. There is an appointed moment when heaven will release your voice, and when that moment comes, no force on earth or in hell will stop what flows through you. Ecclesiastes 3:7 declares, "There is a time to be silent and a time to speak." Your silence has not been wasted. It has been reserved. Every word you held back was stored like oil in a vessel, waiting for the spark of destiny. Not every battle deserves your words. Not every accusation deserves your answer. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Silence has trained your tongue for the right moment, because when you finally speak, it must carry destiny, not emotion. Look at Jesus. Before Pilate, he stood accused. Crowds shouted, leaders mocked, yet he remained silent. Why? Because that was not the time for his voice. His words were reserved for the cross, and when he finally declared, "It is finished," eternity shifted. One sentence, perfectly timed, carried more weight than 1,000 defenses. Heaven is preparing your "it is finished." Silence is shaping your discernment, so your words will not be scattered like seeds, but arrows hitting the mark with precision. Picture a soldier on the battlefield. He doesn't waste bullets in the air. He waits. He studies the target, and when the time is right, one shot changes everything. So it will be with your words. Guarded, timed, unstoppable. Look around you. People waste words daily in gossip, arguments, careless chatter. But you are being set apart. Silence is teaching you to treasure every word like a jewel. When you finally speak, it will not be noise. It will be decree, not chatter, but prophecy. Not explanation, but transformation. Proverbs 25:11 says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver." The right word, in the right time, in the right season. This is gold. This is treasure. And heaven is turning your silence into that treasure. Take this truth deeply. Your silence has not been delay. It has been investment. Heaven has been depositing power into you, and when the release comes, it will flow with interest. Your words will carry the weight of every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting. So do not fear the silence. Do not rush the release, for when the time comes, your voice will need no defense. It will carry such authority that even your enemies will recognize God's hand upon you. But here lies the mystery. If silence has taught you timing, and timing has sharpened your voice, then what is your voice meant to release? Your silence has been a womb, and what is birthed from this womb will not be small. It will be fire. It will be destiny made sound. That is where we go next. Because silence is not only about waiting, it has been shaping the weapon that no one sees until it is revealed. Your silence has been more than waiting, more than protection, more than timing. It has been your hidden weapon, the weapon nobody sees. The world measures power in noise, shouts, debates, arguments, but heaven measures power in stillness. What is hidden often carries more force than what is seen. Isaiah 30:15 says, "In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." Not in shouting, not in endless explanation, not in defending yourself at every attack, but in quietness, in trust, in silence. That is where strength is forged. Silence is the invisible sword. Enemies expect your anger, your reaction. When none comes, when you answer with holy silence, you have already won. Because silence steals their weapons. It leaves them fighting shadows, drained of power. Think of David before Goliath. The giant mocked and cursed. David did not waste words in argument. He carried a hidden weapon, a sling, a stone, an unseen faith. One strike silenced the noise. Your silence is that sling, the unseen weapon that disarms giants. Look again at Jesus, on the cross, in pain. He chose silence for hours. Crowds jeered, rulers sneered. But his silence was not weakness, it was war. Every moment he stayed quiet. Hell was being disarmed. Then, at the perfect time, he released one weaponized phrase, "It is finished." And history shifted. Your silence carries that same authority. It is the stage for your next decree. Silence is also intercession. Every time you chose quiet instead of reacting, heaven heard it as prayer. Every time you stayed still instead of exploding, it was received as worship. Your silence has been moving angels, shaking atmospheres, confusing demons. Understand this. Your silence is not passive, it is active. Not emptiness, but engagement with heaven, an invisible weapon undeniable in the spirit realm. You've wondered, how can I fight if I don't speak? How can I defend myself if I stay silent? God replies, your silence is the courtroom of heaven. It is my defense on your behalf. It breaks what words never could. This is why the enemy hates your silence. He would rather you argue. He would rather you waste energy proving yourself, because then you are drained and distracted. But silence keeps you sharp. It keeps you covered. It keeps you dangerous. Your silence is secret fire. Others think you are doing nothing. They think you are weak. But beneath the quiet, heaven is roaring. God is moving. Your spirit is being armed. And when release comes, your words will strike like lightning. Do not underestimate this weapon. Silence has already won battles you never saw. It closed the mouths of accusers. It dismantled plans of enemies. It drew heaven to your side. But here lies the greatest mystery. If silence is your weapon, and you've been trained to wield it, what is the final key? What truth explains why every silent moment was necessary? That is the revelation we now step into. Because silence was never the end. It was preparation for the greatest unveiling of all. Now we arrive at the mystery. The hidden truth heaven has been weaving through every moment of silence in your life. Your silence was never punishment, never abandonment. It was preparation, consecration, the womb of your destiny. Every unanswered question, every word you wanted to release but couldn't, every time you walked away instead of defending yourself, all of it was shaping you, building you, preparing your voice to carry weight. The truth is this: your silence has been heaven's weapon. And when you speak, it will not just be you. It will be heaven echoing through your voice. Your words will not be sentences. They will be decrees. They will be fire. They will shift atmospheres. This is why you survived. This is why you endured. Every hidden season, every furnace moment, every quiet battle was training for this. Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us, there is a time to be silent and a time to speak. Heaven now whispers, your time is near, but this time you will not waste words. This time, your sound will break chains. This time, your voice will carry thunder. Feel this truth deep in your spirit. Silence was not the end of your story. It was the soil where roots grew strong, the shield that hid you, the weight that refined you. And now, it becomes the platform for destiny to roar. Repeat this prayer with me. My silence was my weapon. My silence was my training. Now my voice will be my breakthrough. I am hidden no longer. I am rising. I am chosen. If this word resonates in your spirit, Take a step of faith, like this message. As a prophetic sign, you are stepping into release. Subscribe, as a declaration you belong to this rising tribe. And type in the comments. Silence was my weapon. My voice is my destiny. Not just as a comment, but as decree. You did not stumble here by accident. You were guided, prepared, and now you are ready. Your silence has carried you this far, but your voice, filled with heaven's fire, will carry you into destiny.